Run from it, hide from it, Luka arrives all the same. Luka Doncic has been one of the best players in the NBA since his second season. His quick rise to being one of the best European players in NBA history is one for the ages. And somehow he's found a way to get better this season. Luka hasn't missed being on first team All-NBA past his rookie season. And in all of those years, he finished top 10 in MVP voting. However, Luka has never been an MVP finalist, despite consistently being in the top 10 in voting. His highest finish came in 2019-20, when he finished 4th in voting, just outside of the top 3 finalists. This season feels different, and even Mark Cuban can see it.
Last year humbled all of us, and Luka's come back with a vengeance. You know, he worked hard this summer. When things don't go well, you get a better understanding of the game. When things are going well, it's easy.
Right.
You know, it's when things don't go well that you find out who you are, who your teammates are, who the organization is. And I think Luka, more than any of us, really took that to heart. His leadership skills have improved. His communication skills have improved. You know, he's learned from Dirk, you got to add something to your game every summer, and he's done that. So, you know, all the pieces that you need to do to be a champion, I think he's pulled those pieces together.
We might see Luka finally finish in the top 3, or maybe even win the award this year. Because this season, Luka Doncic is out on a revenge tour. And the new dad isn't slowing down for anybody. He's always been this good, right? Well, in some ways, yes, he has. He's consistently been one of the best one-man offenses in all the NBA. And he's a rare case of a superstar that always rises to the occasion when it comes to the playoffs. Over his career, Luka has been a dog when the regular season ends. He averages more points on higher percentages in the playoffs, and all of his other numbers stay right around their regular season averages. He's a real gamer. He also takes everything personally. I mean, everybody remembers when he said this about the Suns in 2022. Everybody acting tough when they up.
Everybody acting tough when they up. Everybody acting.
And then he proceeded to do this to the Suns in Game 7 of that year.
Stunning. 27-point lead. Down goes Johnson. 3 lead.
That year was the only time the Mavs made it past the first round with Luka. In fact, they made it all the way to the conference finals that year too. The Warriors beat them in 5, but the Mavericks had a look at how good they can be with Luka as the guy. Last season was riddled with injuries to role players, and losing Jalen Brunson in the offseason really dampened their chances. So they went out and got Kyrie Irving. Kyrie wasn't healthy for good chunks of last year, and he's missed a few games so far this year too. But as Luka and Kai start to get more glue between them, the Mavericks will get better and better. Mostly because there's something different about Luka this year. Maybe it was missing the playoffs. Maybe it was Kyrie signing a new deal to keep playing with him and finally having an all-star teammate. Or maybe it was just becoming a father. But Luka has become a different animal and the same beast this year. Let's talk about what we already know about him, and then what he's doing better this year. Firstly, Luka's size has always been one of the toughest things about him for defenders. He's not just a big guard, he's one of the biggest and strongest point guards in modern basketball. His 6'7" stature along with his 230 pounds of mass are roughly comparable to guys like Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler. But Draymond plays forward and punches people for no reason. And Jimmy plays more of a forward position. Luka is strictly a guard, so his size gives him an immediate advantage over any smaller guards that try to harass him. He's simply stronger and bigger than them. Next is his slow pace. Luka isn't going to sprint past anyone, and rarely will he rise up over anybody for a dunk. He uses his muscle and tight handle to get to the rim and to all of his spots on the perimeter. He can lull any defender into a slumber and blow past them, using his size to bully defenders big and small in the paint. Luka's step back is his go-to move. Everyone's seen him drill clutch shot after clutch shot using it. It's one of the most efficient and unstoppable shots in all of basketball. And of course, playing with Dirk for a season and being a white guy from Europe, Luka's got a mean fadeaway in his bag too. Luka's also one of the best pick and roll players and skip passers in basketball. He uses his IQ and size to make passes that other guards can't. He's just one of the best engines in basketball, and with the right scores and defenders around him, that engine turns a Porsche into a Ferrari. So what's different this year? How has he improved in any way? Well, the biggest one is that Luka is shooting a higher percentage from deep than he ever has. Luka's always been, percentage-wise, a below-average three-point shooter. This season is the first time in his career he's shot it above 37% from deep. So that step back and that pick and roll offense we talked about becomes all the more dangerous every time the ball is in his hands. This has led him to having the highest defensive efficiency rating of his career so far this year, on top of putting up a career high in points per game and assists per game. The main reason behind this improvement, in my eyes, is the supporting cast around him. Luka has never had the ability of playing with an all-star for a full season, unless you count Jalen Brunson. But he wasn't quite an all-star when he was in Dallas. But having Kyrie as a secondary scorer is huge for Luka. Now, they aren't a perfect match together quite yet. They have to mesh more, and Kyrie has had trouble taking the backseat to other stars before. But he and LeBron won a ring playing with Kai as the secondary scorer, so the results are there. I think an even bigger addition for Luka and the Mavs as a whole has been their first-round draft pick this year, Derek Lively. In all of Luka's stay as a Mav, his options as true centers have been limited. Porzingis, Dwight Powell, and some other names are what Luka has had to work with as his pick-and-roll partner in the past. But Lively has everything in his bag and has been the absolute perfect partner for Luka. He's big, finishes at the rim hard, and can make the extra pass out of the roll. Luka has never been able to play with a guy like him, a true-blooded big man who sets hard screens. This has been huge to Luka and the Mavericks as a whole, and is a key reason why Luka's assists and defensive efficiency are higher this year than ever before. Take a look at this play as an example. First, Luka gets the board, and Lively gets out running in transition, showing how, even for a big guy, he's really good at running the floor off misses. Then, he quickly gets in position to set a screen for Luka. He perfectly rolls to the rim and rises up for the lob from Luka, and absolutely bodies the defender on his way to the free throw line for an and one. Luka has never had this level of physicality and skill at the center position. A player like Lively is who Mavericks fans have been begging for the team to get for a couple seasons now. And his addition to the team has greatly improved Luka's ability to facilitate and score off screens. Some Mavs fans might say that Luka became a father on May 15, 2022, when he babied Phoenix and turned Devin Booker into his own son. However, by blood, Luka became a father on December 1st. Since then, he's been on an absolute tear. A day after becoming a dad, Luka and the Mavs rattled off 30 consecutive points against the Thunder and almost had one of the best comeback wins in NBA history. They ended up losing in OT, but after the game, Luka said this.
This team today was impressive in the third and fourth quarter. We gotta play this more times, man. We're gonna win a lot of games.
And he's taken that statement to heart so far. Since the loss to the Thunder, they've went 5-2, and Luka has averaged over 35 points and 10 assists per game since then. His best performance came against the Lakers, where he put up 17 assists on top of his 33 points. It's just safe to say he's been cooking since welcoming his first child, or second if you count Devin Booker, to the world. So what's got Luka going this year? Is it his newly found fatherhood, the new pieces around him, or is he just managing to get better? It's a little early in the season to know if he'll keep this up, but all signs point that he will. The Mavericks are top 5 in the West right now, and despite some injury trouble, they look like they'll get back to the playoffs this year, and we'll get to see playoff Luka shine again. But this year, playoff Luka might be a little scarier than before. Because right now, Mark Cuban is right. Luka's out for revenge on the whole NBA. He's tired of losing, and nobody seems to be able to stop him. Now over to you. What are your thoughts on Luka Doncic this season? Let me know in the comments section below.